Special thank you to EA for providing access to the Storybook Nursery Kit. Hello and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Today we're building a classic house from The Sims 2, the Goth's house, if you probably recognized it from the screenshot. So that's what we're doing today. I built it on this lot located here, which is a 40 by 30 lot in Willow Creek. Usually it has the Spencer Kim Lewis house on it, but I thought this was like the perfect size lot to reconstruct this house on because it was wide enough but also allowed enough space for the backyard with all the signature things such as the wedding arch and the little cemetery and everything, whereas like the Goth's house in Willow Creek here is on a 30 by 20, which wasn't wide enough but it was long enough. So I don't know, this just works great, and it's a much better view here, a little more secluded, and I actually think it fits in very well where it is. So the house shape is actually pretty simple. It's basically just a big box. And then the roof will also become accessible just like in The Sims 2, just kind of fixing that up. So the roof was a little bit different in The Sims 2, especially when it came to the front. I don't know, it just looked a little strange. So I kind of cleaned that up a bit. So this isn't by any means a one-to-one copy. I do kind of do some substitutions and some slight improvements. One of those being the windows. The other is being like wall heights. I did use the medium wall height for the first and second floor because it gave the house some nice height that I felt like we needed to better match the Sims 2's version. So it does make for some nice grand walls, but I think it works out quite well in the end. But before we go any further, if you happen to be purchasing the Storybook Nursery Kit or pre-ordering the new Life and Death expansion pack that is due out October 31st, 2024, feel free to use my creator code. It is really simple to use. You just use it in the EA app at checkout. It's just TheSimified, and here are some instructions on how to do that. What that does is that supports me as a creator and gives a small commission. It is not a discount code or anything like that. It's simply to support my channel. So thank you if you do choose to use it, but no pressure if you don't, but please just use somebody's code. But back to the build. So the roof space is accessible. I was just getting the staircase up and it's pretty much in the exact same spot. I kind of followed the original floor plan. The iron railings are from Vampires, I believe. And then this fence I used here, which closely matched the Sims 2's fencing, which was like the iron fencing, basically. I think this one is from Strangerville, but it matched very, very well. Something we do adjust is the height of the foundation on the build a little bit later, because I felt that the house was like a little bit too close to the ground, but that's something I fix later. And yeah, I was toying with going with wood on the front, but then I do swap it back to an iron, like a cast iron fencing to better match the original. I used the shaker style wallpaper. I believe this is from Growing Together, and I thought that was the closest color match and the closest style match to the original wallpaper. I thought about using like Seasons. I think it comes with Seasons. It's either that or Cats and Dogs. There's like another shaker style, but this one was like perfect. Like when I looked at this and then I looked at the screenshot, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like the perfect color. So floor plan is pretty similar. I tried to do a one-to-one copy of some things, but I think in some areas they had like the walls cut away, whereas I chose to use the like taller new archways, which I think worked a little bit better and kept the build closed off. Also, they have like a 1x2 or like a 1x1 little like bump out for like a step down from the back door there. I actually made it a little wider because I didn't like how the stairs looked clipping into the foundation. It kind of made the foundation look a little narrower and silly. So I kind of moved the staircase out away from the foundation so it didn't look as weird. That's just one of my personal preferences, I guess. But if you do want to grab this house, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery. Here is the gallery listing. You can go play in it, have fun. You can renovate it, make it modern. I probably will do that at some point because I think that would be super fun because I used to do that all the time. Something that I did do with this particular fridge is I did resize it a little bit with Tool, but before I shared the lot to the gallery, I did kind of adjust that back to a normal size fridge only because I was worried about issues and playability like Sims kind of going a little wonky when they're kind of interacting with it or just the animation is going weird. So don't worry about that. I do fix that. I just decided not to do that and just move the fridge slightly closer to the countertop and further away from the wall. But all in all, it works out quite well. Something that I never understood from the original build, and I still don't, is that the hallway bathroom has 3 doors going into it. I was just like, wow, that's a lot of doors going into this one little room, but it does make sense. It's kind of like a connection between the primary bedroom and then like the nursery without having to like meander back out the hallway and down the hall and into the nursery. It's just much quicker to access that side of the house. So it works out, I think. I also kept similar fixtures. Like we do have just the tub in there, a toilet and a sink in a countertop. And the same thing with like the first floor bath here as well. You just have your pedestal, sink, and toilet, and that is it. I know when I used to like renovate this in The Sims 2, I would like knock down walls, make the kitchen all modern, and make the living room a little bit bigger and kind of like pull it out more towards the front. Add a TV, of course, and always add a shower to this downstairs bathroom because my Sims always seem to have needed that. So we do swap out the front door. I found this beautiful stained glass door, which is not a one-to-one copy of the original stained glass door that's on the house in The Sims 2, but I thought it was pretty close. Like, I was like, that is probably about as close as we're going to get, and I loved the size of it because it's nice and big compared to like the tiny little door that I was using before. I just think it fit the wall height a bit better, and it does make the front entrance feel a little more grand and put together, and it just flows very nicely. I did use growing together floor tile and wallpapers in the bathrooms only because I felt like they were a little bit more on the classic or traditional side and styling. I know sometimes you can use them for modern as well. I think they're very versatile in that respect. So I thought that was a great thing to use because with the pedestal sinks and like the toilets and stuff, I don't know, it just works so well together. So it's not a modern build by any means, but yeah, I just thought that that particular tile just works so well because you have like the classic subway tile and everything. We do have a stand-up piano, which is courtesy of Growing Together. And I also did the 2 potted plants by the front door. We do a little pedestal with a bust on it, which again, not the same bust by any means, but you can only do with what you have. Also, we did not have any cordless phones in the game, so I do put a fruit basket in that corner instead to kind of function as the cordless phone. I mean, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? It's just a fruit bowl, but yeah, it's just something there because I know that the cordless phone was on that particular cabinet. Also, I added in a small little high chair because obviously there is going to be a nursery upstairs instead of a regular bedroom. So using the Storybook Nursery Kit nonetheless. And then in here, I changed out the archways and made them a bit smaller. That way the fireplace could actually fit because that is where there is a fireplace in the original build. Obviously, windows are not the same in here, but I loved these floor-to-ceiling windows. Nice and tall, but they also matched very nicely with these smaller style windows. I think in The Sims 2, they had similar style windows to this, but they were like one tile. And we don't really have anything like that unless they have like a rounded top to it. So that was probably as close as I can get, even though it's a double tile window. I think it still works well and just complements the style so well. So yeah, in here we do a red couch or sofa. Just right in front of the fireplace, and we do have the chess table, and instead of a fish tank, because the Sims 4's fish tanks are just so large and then you just have the tiny fish bowl, I put in a bonsai tree instead because I don't know, I just didn't want this large ugly fish tank there. but also the fishbowl is just too small. So I thought just putting the bonsai tree there instead is much nicer. And it's right in front of the window, so brings in a lot of natural light. There is no lamp or anything by the staircase here, but I felt like we needed something there. So I found this lamp. I believe it is from Vampires. And I used that a couple of times, like especially in the primary bedroom as well. I just love the style of it. Definitely fit well with the overall style of the house. Also, I did some candelabra, like wall fixtures, or candle wall fixtures. I don't know what you want to call them, but call them whatever you want. That's in the main hallway there and also in the main living room. And this is the bathroom on the first floor. Again, pretty simple. Nothing really, groundbreaking with it. But I usually, when I remodel this, I put a shower in like the corner because it's just so handy to have. And then over here we are mirroring what the original bathroom is like. Again, it's like a one tile window, but we don't have that, so it is what it is. And I think the shower curtain is red in the original build, but didn't have one that had like a nice solid red color, so I just went with what I could do that's closely to it. This is the primary bedroom going together, and I used that same light, I think from Vampires again, but it's a floor lamp this time, which I thought was so nice to use in the primary bedroom here. Just trying to decide on an end table, and there is only one end table next to the bed, which I thought was interesting, but I figured let's just keep it similar as much as we possibly can. There is a taller bookshelf here in the original, but I couldn't find one that would actually fit without cutting the window off too much. So I went for the shorter version instead, which is still in front of the window just a little bit, but I kind of think that's nice how it is because it doesn't like totally block the window all the way up. And then you have a dresser on this side, and I don't believe there's a standing mirror, but I added that as well because I just thought it was nice to have a mirror. Something else I did was add these like wall decals that show like cracks and like different parts of the like plaster or the wall exposed in different parts of the house because I wanted the house to feel a bit kind of old and worn because obviously it came all the way from The Sims 2, so that was however many years ago, and now we're in The Sims 4. So I thought the house, deserved a little bit of I wouldn't say rundownness, but, definitely showing its age. And I think it's nice to have that. So we have the signature yellow bedroom with the green carpet. This bedroom, I feel like, is a little bit wider by maybe one tile in The Sims 2. Because like the floor lamp is a bit more over, and I think like there are like 2 tiles surrounding the fireplace bump out there, but that's okay. I just made it work. I didn't, everything's not like 100% to scale, but it's very, very close to what The Sims 2 would be. And I think it's nicer this way. It makes you feel more cozy, and also a little bit more put together. Something that the original build actually lacked was a lot of curtains. I didn't put curtains on every single window, but like in the bedrooms, like a lot of them, they didn't have curtains, and that kind of always bugs me. Like you do want curtains in some rooms of the house, but not everything. So I do add curtains here and there, which I think fit well with the style and furnishings of the room as much as possible. We do some wall sconces, which are not a one-to-one, but pretty similar to what's there in the original. And now we're using the Storybook Nursery Kit to create a nursery. This is like a really dark blue bedroom in the original Sims 2 build, but it's also not a nursery either. So I thought it was nice to just use the nursery kit and make like a soft blue baby nursery instead of just like a regular bedroom. It's nice to use the kit for that and all of the kit related items. We also do a bassinet in the primary bedroom just in case, kind of like a secondary sleeper area. And this beautiful chandelier I think is so nice to use in the bedroom as well. Brings a lot of nice soft light. And I do change the lighting color throughout the build to a more warm white instead of a like bright white color, which I think is nice too because it creates a nice soft warm glow throughout the whole house. And also the exterior, which is more in line with like the Sims 2's lighting on this particular lot. I always remembered it was kind of very dark, but also like where there was light, it was kind of like warm and glowy, I guess is the best way to describe it. In the main hallway, I just put another potted plant and then a small little area rug. I don't believe there's anything like that in the main hallway, but I just thought I would spruce it up just a little bit, and we do a little photograph of what I think like maybe Bella's mom looked like. I don't know. We could just roll with that. The attic space in the original build didn't really have much in it. It was practically empty. So I thought I would make it a little bit more functional. So we put a computer, desk and chair up here, a bookshelf, a painting easel in the corner, the large dollhouse that comes with the Storybook Nursery Kit, and a small 2x1 tile bar. I thought about putting it on the first floor, but then I'm like, no, let's just put it upstairs here. It works great. We do like one little bar stool. And then I do go around and put decorative light switches, and that's really it. I wanted to keep that space kind of open. That way you could use it for storage or other items. Like if you do move in here, you can add the seasons decorative box and then like other boxes and stuff. I didn't want to add that stuff because then that would have been another kit or thing that you would have needed to have in your game. But this particular build only uses 4 packs: Growing Together, Strangerville, Vampires, and Storybook Nursery. It is only 99,617 simoleons, and it's 3 bed and 3 bath in total. But you could renovate this attic space into being easily another bedroom and another bathroom, and still have the accessible roof space too. So plenty of room to expand should you need to, but it's nice to just have a little bit of function to the attic space. Adding in the cracks and different like rundownness of the house. But again, it's not everywhere. It's just little bits here and there. The signature telescope on the roof in the black and white color. It's so nice to have I know we've had these for a while, but it's so nice to have the smaller telescopes because it just works so well, especially when you're recreating something from The Sims 2. And I was trying to make my own chimney, but then I was looking at the reference screenshot and I'm like, yeah, I mean, we don't have the exact like small, narrow chimney stack, but it's close. So I just used the same brick that is used on the foundation up there, which I think is kind of how it worked in The Sims 2 anyway. Like the foundation was just brick, so it worked. It's fine, and it'll be functional. We are now putting together the grave or cemetery area. I used these stones, which I believe I want to say they're from Strangerville. Some of them are kind of like curved and kind of like sticking out of the ground. I thought that was so cool because obviously they move over time, and from the transition from The Sims 2 to The Sims 4, obviously the graves would shift a little bit, It's just something fun, I guess. I don't know if there's that many. I did put 6 there, but from the reference screenshot that I had, it looked like there were like 2 or 3 in the front and maybe 1 or 2 in the back. So I might have been a little excessive with the tombstones there, but hey, it's okay. And I tried to mirror the front sidewalk as much as possible since you can't like push a fence up to the edge of the lot. I just thought it was nice. And then I was like, wait, I don't think the original build had a picnic table out there. So it's there like temporarily, but then I find the swing set, which I think the original build did have a swing set in the middle where the picnic table was. Obviously not the same one. I think that one's from Growing Together, but still works well, I think. And we do some exterior lighting on the house. Really quick, I did size them down because I felt like they were just a little too large. And then I was trying to figure out how I'm going to light up the roof. So what I do instead was take these like outdoor floor lights and then use the 9 key and then resize them with the bracket key down just 1 and raise them up so they kind of stick out of the railings, which is nice because the original build also had those by the front steps. So it's nice to have the lights there as well. And then I just kind of scattered them throughout and resized some of these spotlights to kind of light up the front of the house a little bit better. And then around the wedding arch, I couldn't recall if there were lights there, but I imagine there would be. So I do some nice lights around there, but a different style from the rest of the house. They're kind of white. I do use the tool mod to resize these willow trees. The willow trees don't look as nice in The Sims 4 as they do in The Sims 2 because they're a bit more like wispy and realistic looking in The Sims 2. But they were also much smaller, so I thought resizing them just a little bit was a nice thing to do, because then it doesn't really block the whole front of the house either, because they're just so massive in The Sims 4. But it works, I think. And then I didn't obviously match the landscaping or the decorations around the wedding arch, but I thought it was nice to have some flowering bushes and just flowers in general scattered throughout. But it still makes for a nice cohesive design, especially around this little like cemetery area. It's nice to have the bushes and just the general landscaping as well. I did do the front flower boxes though, which are just, I think I want to say they're like daisies or something in The Sims 2, but these were lilies. It's like the closest thing I could find, but it works nonetheless. And you do actually have access to them, even though Sims in The Sims 4 don't have to worry about watering them like you did in The Sims 2, which, to be honest, thank God, because it was so bad when the gardens would just turn brown from you not watering them, and then eventually they would die, and then you'd have to like throw the whole thing away. It was like, what? So I'm glad our Sims don't have to worry about that aspect anymore. It's kind of nice in a way to not have to worry about that. Now we're on to terrain painting. I did some flowers down the center of the wedding arch where like the aisle would be. But then as I was doing some other terrain painting, you'll actually see it like quickly disappear. I clicked on a swatch, I think of like gravel, and all of a sudden I had to repaint it. I was like, what the heck? But luckily I did not lose the rest of my terrain painting. I did put some dirt around these little like tombstone grave markers because I thought that they would be like maybe freshly dug, or just, you know, it's just a realistic touch, I guess, because there's like no grass growing over top of them. And I do like a little like flowery thing on one of them and stuff, so it's like Sims actually go and visit. So I thought that's nice to have. I mean, it's totally not like Storybook Nursery related, but we do use the kit for the nursery. So it's just to make the build feel a bit more like its Sims 2 counterpart. So very cool indeed. I do add a flowering bush in the corner here because I felt like we needed something in the back there, but nothing that would take away from, you know, accessing it or getting into here at all. So nice. And then I do some like dirt on the edge of the stone, but yeah, other than that, we are almost finished. So yeah, that's it. So here is the Goth's classic house. Again, you can find it on the Sims 4 gallery. My EA ID is just TheSimified. It's a 40 by 30 lot, 3 bed, 3 bath, built in Willow Creek, and only 4 packs. So not too bad. The gallery will tell you what exactly you need. And it's not really expensive either. I mean, 99,000 simoleons, so maybe it is a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it could be a lot worse. Same thing with the number of like packs and kits. So yeah, here is the floor plan, top down, and then we have the second floor. And then I also show the attic space as well. So, and then we kind of zoom around the exterior a little bit. You see Bella Goth there. Coming down the front steps. This is the front entrance area. Again, you have the nice piano. I don't think the original build had light switches, but I just thought that was a nice realistic touch, especially since we have those in The Sims 4. Like, why not? It just makes sense. This is the kitchen, beige and boring. There were no upper cabinets, I don't think, back then, and I thought, let's just stick with that style. I did think about doing like a range, like hood thing over the stove, but then I'm like, nope, because that wasn't in the original build. There also wasn't that side table in the dining room there, but I felt like that wall needed something between the archways, so we do have that there. And then this is the living room. There is no TV in this particular build. I did think about putting a TV on top of the fireplace, but I did get rid of it because I just thought the original build, I don't believe, has a TV, but that is something I always added when I did renovate the build and kind of make it a little bit more modernized. And I also changed up like the second floor bedrooms a bit too. So that's always fun to do, is just to renovate an old build like this and make it into something that uses a bit more of a like modern and clean style, and uses a lot more packs and kits. But obviously I wanted this to be as limited as possible since we are using, or primarily focusing on, the Storybook Nursery Kit for this particular build. and adding in a nursery instead. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it so far. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is the beautiful little nursery. I think it's so much nicer to have this rather than the really, really dark blue room. It's nice to have the softer blue, and it's a really cute room, I think. Went together quite quickly, but also quite well. This is the attic space, which is kind of like a playroom, multifunctional room. But again, you can easily convert this into more space should you need it. And then we go up to the rooftop, which is accessible. And that telescope there, which you can, spy on your neighbors or get taken out by a meteorite. But that is it for this video. So I do thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.